I think even the CEOs are starting to figure that out. Like I'm trying to prove myself wrong, Zach. Like I try to look for companies that have been successful.
Oh boy, here we go with these two again. Pixel Broccoli with Zach and Evan.
Good morning, to our listeners. I don't know, what should we call our listeners? Should they be Florettes or maybe Brocc Nation? I don't know. Either way, I'd
I
like
like
to. Which one? Brocc Nation?
they're both good. Florets is cute,
Yeah,
you know.
Florettes. Yeah, could work. I don't know. Well, I like to see what people have to say in the comments here.
Yeah.
But yeah, good morning, Evan. I'm coming to you live from North Georgia, and I am Zach Mannering.
Evan Canarosi coming live from North Jersey.
All right, and let's see if Brocc is in the house.
Morning.
Oh, man, doesn't have much to say today. All right, well, maybe it's a little early for him,
Yeah, he needs his coffee, his caffeine.
Yeah, I do too, yeah. So let's see what Brocc has in store for this episode.
Look, you two are still figuring out what to call people at 9 in the morning. I've been awake since 4 watching the market move on coffee that's been sitting since yesterday.
Cold coffee.
Nice. All right, cool. So, I had a question for you. When's the last time you shipped something visual and felt like you made every decision on it?
Oof. Every decision?
Yeah. Like,
Uh,
outside of AI, like, you've made you built this whole thing, you designed this whole thing, and you're like, "Man, that is 100% Evan."
that has to predate AI. I haven't done any of that since AI. It's been all team, all partnership. I would say
Yeah.
solely Evan. Probably back like maybe 2021. Maybe a product I
Wow.
was working on at work. Yeah, just my name stamped all over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was tough, man. But I do love the beauty of ownership, man. You really get to say it's your
It
own.
is
But yeah,
There's some satisfaction in that, right?
yeah, definitely. Yeah, it
So
was.
prior to I mean, you would go to, I don't know, say, like, Dribble or something like that for inspiration, um, Google Images, whatever it might be. Do you still feel like that's still you owned it? Like, it's still your design?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it depends on the context, but, like, when you say Dribble, you mean, like, those are still inspirational sites today. I think a lot of designers
It's
still use that.
100%, 100%. But I guess my parallel is with AI, are you using AI for inspiration or are you using AI to do the job?
Both. Um, I think inspiration-wise, just for UI, it's definitely, a good companion to Dribble, right? Especially in
Mhm.
Replit, man. I think, once Replit kinda owns how you design and picks up your style, I use it all the time, man. Just, give me a, like I don't even ask it to generate something in the actual product that I'm working on. I'm just like, producing it a visual, just give me some inspiration on the problem I'm trying to solve, and then I kind of accompany that with Dribble. But, it's mixed. I'll do that for inspiration,
Yeah.
but then I'll also use it to build. So it's definitely kind of a back and forth.
I'm curious what Brock has to say here.
Inspiration's just reference with a faster refresh rate. You're still picking what lands and what doesn't, so that part's yours.
Well,
Fair.
yeah. What do you use, Brocc, though? Like, what's a good inspiration tool out in 2026?
Roast at 450, dark edges, garlic, lemon, parmesan, chili flake. That's the template. And everything else is just noise trying to look like a decision.
He
So,
always start he
good
starts
recipe.
Yeah, he starts with his recipes and his metaphors, and I have to give him a second. I'm like, "All right, maybe he'll come around." Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't.
That's that's
Yeah.
Brock, he's got a different view on things, which is good.
Yeah.
So anyways, this whole question came to me when we were I got the honor to go to the Config this year with Figma's, kind of 10,000 person 120 person speaker, thing, which is absolutely huge in San Francisco. So it got me thinking about like all the stuff that Figma is now pushing, of course. And it just made me think about like how much of that do we own if we're starting to lean more and more into AI as we go forward in life, with our designs, our development, everything. I mean, like Figma now has, even one of the biggest things they announced was motion
Right.
in the Figma, so it's like, okay, so when we start getting into more tooling, what part of that do we still own as, craft, you know, crafters or craft experts in the space?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what they're tapping into. Like, I think they are trying to create ownership, um, with those features, and it really depends on, I guess, how you're embedding that within your products. But I think what was it? There's motion, there's shaders. There was a bunch out there.
Mhm.
I think it kind of is Figma just I think they know that their competitiveness is, like, up against the fence. So, in terms of being the best tool out there to push design to product, now they kinda have to branch out. And there's a lot of debate around this, like, is it, something that's going to, cause friction, or is it actually gonna be a benefit to users? But I don't know, man. I see it as, like, you can still own it. Figma Motion, I think, is tapping into, like, Macromedia Flash, and
Yeah, we said the same thing. We're like, "Oh, back to the Flash days."
yeah, right? Like, it's got the timeline, which is cool.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, yeah.
it is a good question on ownership, right? And I'm actually really curious before I answer. I want Brock's input on this because I don't wanna bias myself. Like, Brock, how do you see motion as being a
Figma's
factor?
not making designers optional. It's making the ones who don't know what good looks like disposable.
Okay. What about what was the other one? So, like, that was motion. What do you think about shaders? I don't think you picked up. Oh, there he goes.
Yeah. Yep.
Shaders are the same problem dressed up in GPU language. You can describe what you want, the tool spits out what it thinks you meant, and then you're stuck deciding if it's right or if you're just tired.
Yeah, I mean, that's still with any feature, right? Like, you still have to make those decisions. But I totally
Right.
did not answer your question on ownership, Zach. So you're
No, I just it's a curious thought though, right? I mean, the underpinning of this, and I have some other examples here, but do you have any thoughts?
yeah, I mean, I still think it's down to the designer. I think I don't think ownership is in jeopardy. I still think it's down to the designer. I just think they're just expanding their tool set, and then it's how you use it. I don't really see it as like something that's directly tied to AI. I don't see it something that's directly tied to you're slowly losing your role, your grip. So my take is whatever, man. Like, you just cherry pick. I think it's great that they're adding to the tool set. I think code layers is great. I think shaders is great. I think Figma Motion is great. And if you don't want to use it, then you don't use it. But if you do want to use it, take ownership, and it's just part of your tool set. I don't really overthink this one.
Okay. Okay, that's fair. So it's like, I mean, you can probably argue this has been going on for some time now, but it's more of a product operating system now, more so than just a design tool.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it.
It's like a full
Um,
suite, like they have 9 different products now, I think, something in that neighborhood if you count design, FigJam, dev mode, make, sites, Figma Draw, slides, buzz, and weave, and motion.
yeah.
I don't know if that would be separate. I mean, there's so many, like, offerings now.
Well, that begs I mean, what do you think next year's config's going to be, right? Because you just said a suite of products, right? Whatever, 9,
Yeah.
10, 11. There's gonna be
Right.
a point where they're gonna have a portal that's gonna basically just be like, you're gonna zoom out and everything's embedded in one UI within Figma's umbrella, right? Eventually, it's gonna have to
Right.
be, how much more can they support without losing, CPU or storage? I don't know if it
That was one of those big questions.
yeah,
What
like
what Brock's take is on this.
yeah.
They're building a platform and calling it a tool. Eventually, the canvas becomes just one window in a much bigger operating system. And the question stops being, is this good design? And starts being, does it work in the Figma stack?
Yeah, and does that deviate from Figma's original message? Like, Brock, do you think Figma is going to lose its core meaning for what the platform started at?
Figma started as design together faster. Now it's design everything, ship anything, stay inside. Those aren't the same thing.
Yeah. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Mm.
What are your thoughts on that, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I saw, pretty like a common pattern is that Figma wants to be your editor tool, but with collaboration, with multiplayer kind of things, right? So, a developer can hop in, comment, make changes, a designer can hop in, make changes, a product manager, like the whole product life cycle can jump in there on the canvas and either make changes, make comments, but it's all multiplayer, right?
Right.
It's that tool that allows us to collaborate
Right.
together. And that's the common thing that I saw as a thread when I was there for sure.
Okay. You
But
get a
the question you mentioned earlier about CPU concerns was something that we brought up too. Is like, okay, you start adding more and more and more stuff to the canvas. Like when do you run out of memory? Because the browser tab is only so large. Like I think you get like 4 gigs of memory in the browser tab on a standard browser. So or a modern browser. So where does that end? Like how do you like I mean the memory allocation, the memory, heap size and garbage collecting, all that stuff. I know I'm throwing out a whole bunch of tech terms, but all that stuff that gets handled, like that's a big, big thing to handle from a Figma standpoint.
right. And it's like, is that the bloat of them just trying to stay competitive and dangerous? Or are they actually thinking about this where it's long
They
term
have
and
to be thinking about it, right?
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that to me, that would be a prime example on, using something like a Fable against their own product and say, "Hey, find all the memory leaks and the memory holes where we can optimize."
Right.
Because that is a big deal on their part.
Yeah. And like, what's
I mean,
the
because their claim to fame is being in the browser,
yeah. Yeah, that was their thing, which was a huge
right?
shock to the world when they came out. It's like,
Right.
what,
Right.
a design tool in a browser? Are you kidding me? Give me a desktop client. Give me like something tangible like Photoshop. And now it's the standard, right? Everything,
Now
right?
it's the
And I
standard.
think
Yeah.
everything is standard. But I don't know what the longevity plan is, man. Brock, what's the longevity plan for Figma?
They'll ship what fits in the browser until it doesn't, then blame the browser. Same as every platform that got too big for the foundation it was built on.
I mean, Dylan's probably thinking about that.
Oh, he's got to be,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I wonder too, like the desktop app is technically just a browser window, like a web app.
Right.
But I wonder if it gives you some more memory allocation, and then they limit some of the functionality that they're delivering, like some of their 3D stuff, for instance, that they showed that's not quite released yet. I wonder if that's something that they're gonna be, only on desktop, right? Because they can handle the memory allocation better.
Yeah. Maybe that's the split. Maybe that's how they're gonna start dividing and conquering, right? Like, you go here for desktop client, you go here for browser. There's a little bit more guidance on, where you use the tools. But
Yeah,
right now it's kind of a free for all.
yeah, interesting. See what if Brock has anything else here.
If they're splitting features by platform, they're admitting the browser can't handle the vision. That's the moment they stop being a design tool and start being a suite looking for a home.
I mean, they're admitting in private. I think there's still I don't know if I totally agree with that. Like, I think they're still kind of putting on a little bit of a front. I mean, they have to, especially at config. They're kind of showcasing what they're building. But I haven't checked their IPO. I haven't checked if they're statistically going up or down. I would think they're still I don't know. Are they trending
They're still
down?
growing.
They're
They're still
growing.
growing.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So it's a mixed read, but um, I don't know. I mean, like I feel like it's just like a constant. Like I don't really know where they're going to be in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, but it's just I don't know, man. All this stuff. It's so easy to complain. It's so easy to very easily target. Where things go wrong with what they're releasing. But
Mhm.
I made a post about this the other day. If you put all your eggs in one basket and Figma is your main source of truth for everything, and it's 100% of your usage for design to dev, then I could see it being problematic. But I mean, dude, there's so many tools out there at this point. Maybe you use 15, 20% of Figma, and then you're using whatever, Replit, Base 44, VS Code, Anthropic still pumping stuff out. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's kind of like a mix. You're not just only using Figma. So I don't care personally. If I'm not going to use Figma for part of what I'm doing when I'm building, I'm just going to move to Replit, or I'm just going to move somewhere else, or to VS Code.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess there's value in staying inside the same platform or the same product, right? And that's what Figma brings, by being able to do those things.
Well,
And
that's
I
what
think they recognize that there's a bunch of new players in the space that are on the canvas. Like,
so
I don't
what
know if you played around with the new Claude Design 2.0,
I have not.
but it's starting to get closer to the Figma world.
So
So, like, when you yeah, go ahead.
do you think that they're competing with code layers? Like that's the new one, right? Like that's kind of where they're trying to bridge a little bit more between design and
Yeah,
dev.
and I questioned a little bit about the code layers too, like, it's a cool concept, the idea of it being in the canvas as a layer, right,
Yeah.
makes sense, right? We can again, back to that whole multiplayer, kinda space, collaboration space. Um, my concern there is the code layer has to render the front end of your application, and, of course, all their examples was only mobile, which might be on purpose because they're pretty lightweight, but also, let's say we have an application that's already running that's maybe behind a login credentials or what have you, or maybe it's in, in my case, like a design system is in a storybook or something like that. How does that render inside a code layer? Or
Interesting.
is there like some type of extraction, right, where it saves because you can go to any website and save a website, right? Save the rendered version of that website. Is that what it's doing? Is just saving the rendered version of your site and then be able to manipulate from there.
Right. Then
So
where does
I would like to see what it looks like in practice. Like, how does it actually work in practice?
Yeah, that's what I wanna know, know because I think part of the I mean, you were there, you know better than me, but part of the demo, I think, maybe day 2, was
Mhm.
how they were connecting it. I thought they mentioned connecting it to Git with a pull
Yeah,
request.
they were connecting it to GitHub, which is great. But
Yeah,
again, it's gotta be some type of like widget or an iframe or something going on there because I mean, you're not gonna allow somebody's code to fully manipulate what's in your application, like in the Figma application.
yeah,
So like I would really like to dig into that more to understand what it's really doing behind the scenes.
yeah. And is it gonna be another flop like Figma Make, where it looks great in presentation, but then in practice, to your point, like, you wanna see it boots on the ground, actually in training and working, and then,
Yeah,
how do you navigate that? Is it gonna work? Is it gonna flop? Is it gonna break? And then, if you do something in
right,
Canvas that's wild, and then you can easily push back to Git, is that gonna break everything? Especially for enterprise level software.
right, right. I
That's
think that's the key is enterprise, right?
Yeah.
See if Brock has anything.
Code layers is a nice demo until someone's actual code base hits it and realizes Figma's looking at a screenshot, not understanding what's running underneath.
Yeah, the
No,
screenshot.
I don't think it's really a screenshot, it's actually running. I did ask about that, but it is a screenshot when you, like, zoom out, because it's just memory allocation, right? So if you're zooming out on the canvas, it turns into, like, a screenshot, and then if you hit space bar, it actually plays the actual, like, dev, like, it's actually running the dev stuff.
Interesting, okay. I didn't
But
know.
it's got the yeah, I'm pretty sure it goes to a screenshot once you zoom out. 'Cause
Gotcha.
it's not gonna be able to run everything on the same canvas, it's just you would run out of memory so fast.
Are you on the beta? Did you sign up for that, or just you're going from what they showed you?
I'm just going based on what they showed me, I haven't even played around with it, like, personally yet, so I can't speak. to, you know, the actual side of it. I mean, maybe in a future episode, we can dig into it more.
Right.
But, you know, I haven't done anything with it. I don't
Yeah.
have a personal account, to Figma to really play around with it.
Right. Oh, you can use mine, brother.
Oh, there
That's
we go, there we
yeah.
go. Actually, speaking of which, I had something come up, this week, kind of like a little bit of a sidebar here that Figma actually helped me with is I created I hate to say it, a portfolio site because I know
I
we
saw
talked
it.
about
Yeah.
yeah, I know we talked about like kind of the waste in creating a portfolio site, but I want to have some fun with it and to be different, I created it as like more of a game, if you will, or like a Sims kind of feeling to it, top down kind of game.
Yeah.
And you walk around and you talk to different personas of who I am, and you get to know, me, Zach, as, all the different things that I've kind of tapped myself into. But during that process, I used Banana, which by the way gives you quite a bit of tokens before you run out. The Google Banana image stuff, which works really, really amazing. But I created a whole bunch of characters that looked like me in different outfits or what have you. And I brought that into something called vTracer, which basically vectorizes the PNG, but you can force it to be like a pixel vector, which is something that I've been wanting to do for some time now. Especially even with Brocc, like I want him to be pixel, like, pixel vector, not like just a clean line vector. I want to be
Right.
pixeled,
Right.
which is different. And so I found something called vTracer that does it. And nonetheless, when I brought it into Affinity, which is now by Canva, um, it for some reason it would always make the export transparent, like not the background transparent, the actual character transparent.
That's weird.
And I don't know why. I was fighting it. I couldn't figure it out. If I did JPEG, it was fine, but when I do PNG, it would actually make the body of the character transparent. So I was like, I don't know what's going on. So I brought it into Figma and I copied because this is after I converted it to an SVG, vectored SVG. I brought it into Figma and Figma handled it perfectly. So props to Figma on that front. But I was able to bring all those. So I have a Figma file with all of the characters in different like walking states and stuff like that. And I have like a south view 3/4 and a north view 3/4, and those are kind of how I handle the characters. Kind of look like they're moving around the canvas on the page.
Yeah, I was messing with it the other day. I didn't know if it was hover detected. I think it's just random, right? Like sporadic
It's
how that
random.
yeah.
Hmm.
But, so that's cool, man. You did everything in a free Figma account because I think you're limited to the amount of projects and features that you can use.
Yeah, you're limited to like 3 projects or 3 files, and I
Yeah,
have 2. So
yeah,
I was like,
yeah. That's
but
awesome.
I did see that Figma does allow you to do raster to vector, which
Yeah,
is cool, but I haven't done it myself. That's one of those tools that's very tough to do correctly. I used to use a tool called Vectorizer, I think it was called. But being able to convert things to vector accurately is a very tough thing to do.
right.
I wonder if Brock has any thoughts on vectorizing stuff.
Vectorizing is just tracing what you already decided was worth keeping. If the original PNG doesn't know what it is, the vector won't either.
Yeah, I mean that's the case, but I mean there's definitely different outputs. Like if you're doing a logo, let's say, that makes sense. You can vectorize a logo and you understand what it's supposed to be. But if you're trying to, in my case, make a pixelated character model, I don't want it to assume that everything needs to be smooth and soft, like and fix the curves and what have you. Like I want it to be still pixelated at the end of the day, which is a tough thing. That's something I've been trying to play around with. I even thought about, do I need to build my own tool to do vectored pixel art?
Yeah, I mean, the way you set up Brocc too, right? Like I remember the first generation that you made of him. And then,
Mhm.
by the way, just take a step back for a second for everybody listening, the three people that we have in the audience. Brock,
All 3 of y'all. The florets.
the Florets are Brock Nation.
Roc Nation, baby.
Zach is very talented. He comes off as a developer, but I actually think he's more of a designer, which is an interesting take. But your first generation was really good, but it wasn't perfect pixel art. And when you
Mhm.
showed me his true form, I thought you used AI to do that, but you manually redid his character. Is that correct?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I created a grid, because I didn't know a better way to do it. I created a grid of squares essentially inside of, in this case, Affinity,
Yep.
and it was, I think it was 96 by 96 pixel grid,
Yep.
and I hand drew each box, like, I colored each box so that it was perfectly on the grid. His actual face was on the grid.
Right.
Which is one of those tough things when you use AI, it doesn't understand grids. It doesn't know, "Oh, you want this to be 96 by 96 pixel grid structure." So
Yeah.
that's where I was like, "Man, we kinda need a tool to handle that,"
Yeah.
because it's adding constraints.
Right. And that's what you can do, right? I think the cool thing that you
Yeah.
mentioned too is it kind of backs the original thing that we talked about, which is any tool that you're using is never really 100% of your capacity. You're kind of just jumping tool to tool as needed or ad hoc, right?
Mhm.
Just want to get to do what you need to do. So like you're making those decisions on the fly. Okay, AI can't really support this. I have to go back to the way I know how to do it, or do I need to build a tool to achieve that, which is awesome. And then you're using AI, I think, in a really smart way, which is just kind of embedded in the certain process that you need to just pick it up, right? Like you're using it maybe to fine tune, to review, to do the more task generated stuff, which is not different. Everyone's doing it that way. But like it's a cool way to look at it because I think the world is starting to pick up on that, right? Like, I'm even seeing I'm pivoting a little bit here, but I'm even seeing like through Config, through LinkedIn, through Reddit, a lot of channels that are just kind of slowly moving away from the term vibe coding. And even the stuff you're sending me, dude, is like more CEOs hiring people back because the full
Mhm.
dependency that we have on AI is just not cutting it, not only for token costs, but just for output. So, like you said
Yeah.
it, dude, like you're doing this stuff, you're making those critical decisions to say, like in your head, does AI work for this part or not? If it doesn't,
Right.
I have the knowledge that I'm going to either do it myself or I'm going to build a tool to do that, and then I'm going to use AI on top of that. So, like, what's your take, man? Or maybe we can throw this one to Brock. Like, it are we going back to a different direction now, based on how we're designing and developing?
Yeah. Let's see what
The pendulum swung too far toward let the model decide. Now it's swinging back to humans who know what they're doing, decide. Then use the model to accelerate it. That's not going backwards. That's just learning the difference between a tool and a crutch.
Yeah, and when he says stuff like that, I have to question, like, all right, is he just agreeing with me? But that one in particular, I actually think he's kind of on the mark, right? Because like,
Yeah.
it's not just him summarizing what we said. I think it's also just out in the market, man. It's just from what I'm seeing, um, and it's a good thing. I actually think it's a really good thing. I think like, it's kind of like the FO, fuck around and find out if I can use that word here. It's like, and it's kind of nice, man. Like we're kind of just realizing we need to be a little bit more dependent on humans, just the smidge.
Yeah, I think it was it Ford, um, that just hired back, like, 350 engineers or something like that
Yeah,
because their AI process wasn't working.
yeah,
I mean, there's things that it just doesn't do exactly correctly, like you said, like, I mean, even building Brock's new scene here, like, breaking apart all of the different like, the hair, his face, his neck, his body, his arms, like, they all have, like, a little bit of movement to him now, so he's a little bit more natural feeling when he's talking and stuff, and breaking all that apart, it was like, "Yeah, I can do that, but how do you bring it all back together?" in a way that feels correct. And so I actually built a tool around how to set up the scene for Brocc. So like where his shoulders are, where his elbows are, where his neck is, where his hair is. And I can adjust all that inside of this tool and then save those coordinates back to code. Right. So I'm not asking AI, hey, move this to the left, move this to the right, move that, because it would just it would be a nightmare. So the idea is, well, build me a tool that allows me to move it left and right, and then you save off whatever I changed.
Right. And, like, does that give you
So
more creative freedom where you had the idea, AI helped you jumpstart and build it, and then you can
Mhm.
kind of go and tailor, fix, tweak, do what you do, have your knowledge to kind of, create that better experience, but it's like that 60/40, right? Maybe you knew 60% of the way there, and then, the 40% gap, you had AI support you, and then you just took it the rest of the way.
yeah. Yeah, and I mean, even the scene itself, like the speaker, the laptop, the coffee mug, the mic, the mixer, the desk, all that stuff I can move around inside the scene. So if I wanted to change it up or resize it, I made it so it's fully flexible for me to make those changes. So if there's something we saw that was kind of odd or
Yeah.
what have you, I can do that.
Yeah. Can you make them go hands up?
I can. Let's see. I can make them raise the roof here.
Raise the roof.
Yep, yep. Let's see.
You built a constraint layer so you could make decisions fast instead of arguing with a model about pixel positions. That's the actual skill nobody's teaching.
That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's what I've been finding lately is, and maybe this is, one of those things you finally get to the point where it's like, build me the tool. Don't do it for me, but build me a tool that allows me to do what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's
Um,
cool, man, like, another part of the conversation just made me think of something else too, like, back to the vibe coding thing. It's not dead, obviously, it's still huge, but, um, people are becoming a little bit more aware that, vibe coding kinda has a negative tone to it now, right? Like, it somewhat implies that it shouldn't be a skill, and I am seeing it in people's profiles, which is kinda weird, like, "Oh, like, developer, vibe coder," like, alright, anyone could be a
yeah.
vibe coder. You're literally just prompting something and it's generating, right? But, like, I think little or maybe not the majority, but there is a percentage, like in your bucket, right? You know what vibe coding actually is in like the underneath layer, right? So it's cool that the way that you built Brocc, the way that you're using vibe coding in a strategic way, not just kind of just like blanket build it and then just figure it out later, kind of separates the two, right? Like Zach as one person, kind of has the knowledge, and then you have other people that just are not really knowing what they're doing and just prompting to build, right? So like
Oh,
it's an interesting time, man. Like you're really seeing a lot of change where if you're hiring someone, and do I want someone like Zach, right, who's got the experience and knows what's under the hood for vibe coding, or do I want somebody that's just going to prompt and give me slop?
yeah, you got me thinking about something. Like, there's a cost to that, right? Like, if somebody doesn't know what you're trying to ask for, and you're saying, "Hey, build me this,"
Yeah,
there's a cost to redoing that over and over and over again, right? Vibing through it over and over and over again, versus somebody that knows exactly what they want, how they want it architected. Here's the constraints you need to live within. I need you to make sure it runs, on a Mac or a PC, and I want you to use this framework, this version, XYZ, right? Those things, all those constraints that you're able to put up front, put you in a better position when it goes to actually crunch the numbers and use your tokens beforehand. And there's
right.
value in actually doing a full plan before you let loose on Sonnet or Opus to go, "Hey, build this for me."
Right. Which is, I mean, I think any critical thinker would think that way. But did you get the read at Config that people were thinking like that? Like, did you see a lot of people out there? I don't know if you talked to a lot of guys out there. I'm assuming you and, Eric did, but did you guys get the read that people are kind of starting to see that dichotomy between those two types of groups? Like, what was your read out there at the conference?
I felt like there was a lot of uncertainty amongst the
Oh,
audience.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, it just felt like people were just like, "Well, I mean, it's gonna take my job. Gonna do gonna do everything for me,"
Yeah.
you
Interesting.
know? And there was a great quote that I think I'd sent you a picture of, and, I just wanna pull it up real quick, make sure I don't screw it up here. But I think it was along the lines of, "Don't let it think for you."
Yeah. That's a great one.
And I think that was a really good closer to the config, message. Yeah, "Don't let it think for you." That was exactly what it was. Yeah, and I think that's so true, right? It's like, and then back to your whole thing about just vibing through a situation, you're letting it do all the thought process. You
Right.
need to bring your craft and your thoughts to the table to get the solution that you're looking for.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's there's pockets, that you might be like, "Oh, I'm not sure how I wanna handle this," and that's okay.
Yeah.
But by and large, you have to have an idea what you're trying to build.
Yeah. I I mean, that's it. Like, that's not gonna change, you know? Like, I don't care how advanced we get, that's not gonna change. But,
It can't change. Yeah.
yeah. You think Brock knows who that guy was? Can we ask him that quote from Config? I don't know if he would know that.
Yeah. I don't know if you would know that.
Don't know who said it, don't care. The quote's right, whether it came from Dylan or a junior designer who finally figured it out.
Yeah,
Well,
definitely
he knows
wasn't
who
Dylan.
Dylan is.
Yeah, that's funny. Okay.
Um, but it's a it's a good way to put it, right? I think is a really, yeah, this was he's a musician, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He's done, a few different records, and his whole thing was, am I building the records for my audience, or am I building these records for me?
Hmm, not
And
sure
I
who.
and I and I thought that was deep because he was like, because so many people, he's like, "I can take the quote unquote safe route and do it for my audience because I know what they want, because I see what works. Or I can push myself creatively, or, my creative, aspect, and really push myself to see if something will also succeed in the unsafe side of it."
Right.
I think that was like, wow, that's great, because it wasn't, it's like, how do you judge success in those cases? And if your success is based on, oh, the numbers that people are looking at, or, people, thumbs up my song, or they share my song, is that success? Or is success you taking a risk for something you didn't know would work or not,
I think
and
it's
you're
the
happy the fact that you took the risk?
I think it's the latter, right? I mean, that's it. Like,
Gotta
that's
be.
the risk factor is the reward, you know? I mean, literally, that's the quote, right? Like, no risk, no reward. But, I mean, like, if you're talking about musicians, man, I think every musician feels that way. You have to take a risk. It's like the
It's all,
whole, like,
yeah.
"Oh, I'm telling my wife, 'The band's gonna make it, man. The band's gonna make it.'" Um
Mhm.
Money generating? Don't know, right? But, like, in terms
Correct.
of your craft and, the way you're engineering a song and the way you're putting yourself out there, that's total risk. There's many factors to it. It's fear, it's success, it's accomplishment, it's down to, are you good? But definitely, like, even if you're not, man, you take the risk to do it, that's still an accomplishment. So, and I think that dates back to design, development, anything you could look at in that lens.
And yeah, anything in the creative space for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. I wonder if Brock's got any thoughts on that.
Hit 'em.
Taking a risk you understand beats nailing a sure thing you didn't build. The craft matters more than the outcome, and you only know that if you've actually finished something.
Yeah. Ironic because he's AI, but that's like, I love that. It's it's
Nice.
just the word
Very
craft.
meta of you there, Brock. I like
Oh,
it.
yeah.
So, the pushback is the risk isn't that AI replaces you outright. It's that someone who uses AI replaces your speed and scope.
Yeah, I agree with that.
How does that ring with you?
I think the speed and scope, those are really 2 good keywords because that's where you need to be competitive and up your craft, up your game, right? But like we said earlier, you're still in charge of taking ownership over a lot of things that's currently in your tool set. You have to be a critical thinker, and then you have to discern when you're using AI and when you're not using AI. So speed, yes, like, that's not going away. That we talked about this multiple times. Speed is the biggest factor for AI, like full stop. It's just incredible what it could do in a short period of time. But how that's measured and managed is up to you, right? So like that's the difference between vibe coders that don't know anything and vibe coders like yourself, right? So I think it's just speed and scope to me is like maybe 20%, right? Like speed and scope is okay. Even if you lose a little bit of that, if you lose 20% of that because AI is doing things a whole lot faster, but you can pick up the 80% to say, you know how to manage it, how to leverage it, how to push to enterprise software, how to use it strategically. You're not I use Figma for everything. You have 10 tools underneath your tool set and you got the experience to back it up. You're good, man. Like you ride the wave. We're still going on this AI wave. And as it's going up and down through 26, 27, 2028, you're adjusting to those new tools and practices. But the speed is only a little part of it. I don't think speed is like the biggest seller, even though it's what's AI is the best at. You're still gonna have to manage it. And I think even the CEOs are starting to figure that out. Like I'm trying to prove myself wrong, Zach. Like I try to look for companies that have been successful in just pushing things out with speed and getting good ROI and getting good feedback and getting good products out there that are actually performing with no management. I'm just not seeing it.
Yeah, but I think the folks that know how to use the tool or quote unquote know how or are able to use the tool efficiently, let's say, that speed is going to be a differentiator between them and the next person.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
think
that
that's what makes I think that's what we talked about. I think we have in a future episode talking about what makes a senior developer, senior designer a 10xer
yep.
versus maybe a junior that doesn't know or have the history or the experience to know what to ask and what to do.
Yeah.
So that gap, there's a gap actually that's forming between juniors and seniors because of that experience.
Yeah. And like I would love to hear firsthand from a junior how they're kind of navigating that, right?
I would
Um,
too, yeah, maybe,
yeah, just
yeah,
just on their side because I feel a little bit more confident with us because we have some experience. We're not experts, but we have some experience. But from a junior level, yeah, like like I don't know. What's what's Brock's take on that?
Juniors who prompt their way through without understanding what broke are building their own obsolescence. The gap isn't AI, it's whether you know enough to know when you're wrong.
Yeah, I think that plays to some humility too. It's a little bit of both. It's humility, it's lack of awareness, and it could be fear, right? Just like oh shit, like I need to know how to vibe code. Vibe coding is the thing. I need to learn that, but they don't really understand what else is part of that. So I would really like to talk to a junior one day, just to kind of understand what they're going through. That's just
I'm
pure
sure.
curiosity.
Yeah, I'm sure, maybe some of our listeners can chime in as well, and give us our thoughts on that front.
Definitely.
So in closing, designers who win aren't the ones who use the tool the fastest. They're the ones who knew what good looked like before AI showed up. I
Bingo. Yeah,
think that wraps it up.
I think so too.
Any final thoughts?
Just keep keep up with just keep reading. I know it's sometimes monotonous, repetitive thing to say, but it's just, keep staying up to date on all those training sites out there. Even LinkedIn, just the socials, right? Just seeing what people are talking about. But look at people that are actually knowledgeable, right? Like they actually have a lot of experience. Don't get thrown into the hype of, oh, design is dead, like look for reputable people and follow them and listen to what they're saying. Right. And don't lose passion for the craft. Like you still got to have fun doing all this stuff, man. That's the biggest takeaway because that's going to make you a little bit better because you like the work.
100%. Brocc, you want to close this out?
Finish something first, then start the next one. That's the actual skill nobody's teaching.
Oof, said that one before.
I've heard that once before, haven't we?
Yeah. Good stuff, man.
Well, good, man. This is really good stuff. Yeah, I think that's an episode, man. Appreciate you.
You too. See you at the next one.
Yep.
All right, guys, that's it for today's episode of Pixel Broccoli. Leave a comment and tell us what you want to hear for future episodes. Or don't. We don't care. See you next time.